Hey, my friends, welcome to Kayla Reflects. This is where I take some time to sit with myself, my life, talk through what it is actually teaching me, and remind myself that we have to speak life into ourselves. Because if we don't, who will? One reflection at a time. So today, I want to talk about the way we speak to ourselves. Why we have to stop speaking to ourselves like we're someone we don't even like. Because sometimes the things we say inside our own minds are things we would never say to somebody we love. We make one mistake and immediately start questioning everything about ourselves. Why did I do that? What is wrong with me? Why can't I even get anything right? I'm so stupid. I should be further along than this. I always mess things up. And we'll say these things so quickly that we don't even stop to think about what we just spoke over our own lives. It becomes normal. We call it being honest with ourselves. We call it holding ourselves accountable. We may even believe that being hard on ourselves is what keeps us from getting too comfortable. But there's a difference between telling yourself the truth and constantly tearing yourself down. Accountability says, I didn't handle that the way I should have. Self-destruction says, I ruined everything. Accountability says, I need to be more disciplined. Self-destruction says, I am so lazy and I'm never going to change. Accountability looks at what happened and asks what needs to be done differently. But when we're tearing ourselves down, we take one moment, one decision, or one unfinished goal and turn it into a statement about who we are. That's the part we have to pay attention to, because if every mistake becomes proof that something is wrong with us, how are we ever supposed to feel safe enough within ourselves to actually grow? Sometimes we think we have to talk bad to ourselves before we'll finish listening. Maybe that's how we were corrected growing up. Maybe we're repeating those things somebody else said to us, or maybe life taught us that being hard on ourselves was the only way to stay prepared, productive, and in control. So now, when something goes wrong, that voice shows up. It reminds us of what we should have done. It brings up every other time we got it wrong. It tells us that everybody else has figured it out, something we're still struggling with. And if we hear that voice long enough, we can start believing that it's our own. But sometimes it isn't. Sometimes the way we speak to ourselves was learned from the way somebody else spoke to us. We may be carrying the voice of a parent who didn't know how to correct us without criticizing us. The voice of a teacher who made us feel like we weren't smart enough. The voice of a relationship that made us question our value. The voice of a workplace where nothing we did even seemed like enough. Or the voice of a world that always has something to say about how we look, how we spoke, what we had, what we didn't have, and what kind of woman we're supposed to be. Then, without realizing it, we take over where those voices left off. Nobody even has to criticize us anymore because we've learned how to do it to ourselves. We can wake up and find a problem before we've even got out of bed. We look in the mirror and notice what we don't even like before we acknowledge the woman standing there. We complete 9 things and spend the rest of the day upset about the one thing we didn't finish. We look at how far we still want to go without giving ourselves credit for everything it took to get here. And that's heavy. It's heavy to live with a voice that keeps moving the finish line. It's heavy to never feel like anything you do is enough. It's heavy when the one person you can never get away from is constantly pointing out what's wrong with you. Because we can walk away, we can put down our phones, leave a room, but we go everywhere with ourselves. Our own voice has to become a safer place to live. That doesn't mean we lie to ourselves. It doesn't mean we ignore our habits, make excuses for our choices, or tell ourselves everything is fine when we know something needs to change. We still need to be honest. If I've been procrastinating, I need to admit that. If I've been avoiding something because I'm afraid, I need to be honest about it. If I said I was going to do something and didn't follow through, I need to look at why. I don't have to shame myself to correct myself. I don't have to question my entire worth because I didn't get it right this time. I can say, that wasn't my best decision, but I can make another one. I can say, I haven't been showing up the way I need to, so let me figure out what's happening and what's getting in the way. I can say, I'm disappointed in how that turned out, but I'm not giving up on myself. That's accountability. It's just the truth without being cruel to yourself. And I think we need more of that. We need to learn how to correct ourselves with the same care we would use with somebody we genuinely want to see do better. Think about how you would speak to someone you love if she came to you feeling disappointed in herself. Would you remind her of every mistake she ever made? Would you tell her she always ruins everything? Would you tell her she waited too long, so there's no point in trying now? Would you look at one hard season in her life and decide that's all she'll ever be? Probably not. You would help her see what she can't see while she's in the middle of it. You would remind her of what she's already made it through. You would tell her to be honest without allowing that disappointment to become her identity. You would tell her the truth, but you would tell it with love. So why do we believe we deserve anything less from ourselves? Maybe we've gotten so used to being the person who keeps everything going that we don't know how to be gentle with ourselves without feeling like we're being too passive or making excuses. We think if we stop pushing, we'll become lazy. If we give ourselves grace, we'll lose our discipline. If we celebrate where we are, we don't keep growing. Being cruel and mean to ourselves isn't the same as being committed to our growth. Fear can make us move, but it doesn't always move us in a healthy direction. Shame can make us work harder, but it can also make us hide. It can make us avoid looking at our finances because we feel embarrassed. It can make us stop creating because the first attempt wasn't good enough. It can make us disappear from something we care about because we missed a few days and now we feel like we have to explain ourselves. It can make us believe if we can't do everything perfectly, we shouldn't do anything at all. And then we call ourselves inconsistent without looking at how much pressure we've created around simply beginning again. Sometimes starting over isn't the hardest part. Sometimes it's having to face the way we talk to ourselves about needing to start over. Because the task itself only takes a few minutes. But before we get to the task, we have to push through the guilt, the embarrassment, the disappointment, and all the things we had to say about ourselves since we stopped. What if we didn't make returning so painful? What if we could simply say, I'm back now? What if we didn't need a big explanation or a perfect Monday to try again? What if beginning again didn't have to mean that everything before it was a failure? That's something I'm learning for myself. I don't need to turn every interruption into a personal flaw. I don't need to call myself lazy when I may actually be overwhelmed. I don't need to call myself inconsistent when the routine I created doesn't fit my real life. I don't need to call myself a failure when something I'm trying didn't work. Sometimes I need more discipline. Sometimes I need more rest. Sometimes I need a better plan. Sometimes I need to stop doing 5 things at once and finish one thing in front of me. And sometimes I just need to forgive myself for being human. The goal isn't to excuse everything. The goal is to understand ourselves well enough to make real change. Because criticism may tell us that something is wrong, but it doesn't always tell us what we need. Calling myself lazy doesn't help me understand why I keep avoiding something. Calling myself a mess doesn't help me put my life back together. Calling myself stupid doesn't help me learn from a decision. Those words don't give a next step. They just give me another wound to carry. And I don't want to be another person I have to heal from. I want to be someone I can trust. I want to know even when I get something wrong, I'm not going to abandon myself. Even when I'm disappointed, I'm not going to speak to myself like I have no value. Even when I need to change, I'm going to remember that I'm still worthy of my own care while I'm changing. I can be honest with myself and still be kind. I can expect more from myself without acting like everything I've already done means nothing. I can admit that I need to do better without deciding that I am a bad person. I can look at myself, tell the truth about what isn't working, and still speak to myself with hope about what can happen next. That's the kind of voice I want to build within myself. Not one that tells me whatever I want to hear, but one that doesn't turn against me when life gets hard. A voice that I can say, we need to fix this, without saying, you ruined everything. A voice that can say, you know better, instead of shaming me. A voice that remembers I'm still becoming. And maybe that's where speaking life into ourselves begins. Not with pretending we never struggled. Not with forcing ourselves to feel positive, but with refusing to use our own words as weapons against ourselves. Maybe speaking life sounds like I'm still learning. Maybe it sounds like I can repair what I'm responsible for. Maybe it sounds like this moment doesn't get to decide who I am. And it may sound like I'm allowed to take another look, make another choice, and try again. And when those old words come up, because they probably will, we can start questioning them. Is that true? Is that really helpful? Would I say this to somebody I love? Does this thought help me move forward, or does it only make me feel worse? And if it's not helping us grow, heal, or understand something, maybe we don't have to keep repeating it. We can choose another way to speak. It may feel unnatural at first, especially if criticism has been the voice we've trusted for a long time. But we can practice. We can pause before finishing that harsh sentence. We can apologize to ourselves when we say something we now know wasn't good to ourselves. We can replace, I always mess everything up, with the actual truth about what happened. We can give ourselves credit without immediately following it with but. And little by little, our own voice becomes a place where both truth and love are allowed to exist. So today, pay attention to what you're calling yourself when something goes wrong. Pay attention to the way you speak about your body, your work, your progress, your choices, and the life you're still trying to build. Pay attention to whether your inner voice sounds like someone who wants to help you grow or someone who wants to punish you for not being perfect. You're going to hear your own voice more than anybody else's. Let it be a voice that tells the truth. Let it be a voice that calls you back when you've gotten away from yourself. Let it be a voice that reminds you of what you're capable of. But please, let it also be a voice that knows how to love you. All right, friends, that's where I'm going to leave the reflection for today. Take what you need from it. Sit with whatever came up for you, and remember to speak life into yourself. You deserve to hear good things from your own voice too. Until next time, take care. And I love you.